they return on the day before. Ronnie.
We should have had one. It's dark.
It was dark when we got Thursday night.
Yeah, yeah. Too cold.
Corey did my hair too last night. I got pictures. I was very happy. You have no idea how long I've waited for a broom holder in that room.
Well, we got about 1.5 holes drilled. He brought the hammer drill.
So you did need a hammer.
You didn't need
drill.
one, but it made it go a lot quicker.
My husband
They were
goes,
leaning on that battery drill pretty hard.
yeah. He goes, you're gonna need a hammer drill. And you have, I said, do you have one? He goes, at the farm. I said, can you bring it in? He goes, oh man. Yes. I go, well, I'll ask the guys. And then they said, no, you don't need a hammer drill.
I thought 2 holes we could get this. Yeah, about another hour we get the rest of this thing cut off the posts.
Yeah, we've been talking for years. Insulating and sealing it. Air conditioning.
I was more worried about heat. It was so cold. Wednesday when I was in their store, it was so cold. And I had my little here.
I'm gonna bring my radiator
It
here.
was better than standing outside cutting off stuff in the wind.
Maybe that's something we can look at for improvement. Lights.
Get it, try it.
And that's maybe something we can.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about that today. I learned that to be part of that development. Part of it. You talking like smart life, or who you talking
I never thought about that. We would like to get a
I have,
try.
well, there's. Yeah, to that on-hand development. Others.
We could go through foundation.
Yeah, but that's the one that we.
Yeah. And they've been short on people applying for grants. I mean,
That's what she had. I'm gonna use it as grant for the city of building.
oh yeah, we can do that.
I've got like, since that's the place, I've already got, well, there's only 2 work over at the community center. I got,
It gets a little sketchy.
Yeah.
I live right across the street. It is a really dark.
I've got 3 of them that I'm doing right now that need replaced now. And then of course I got this here in Fairview, some on Main Street. So I've got a whole list of lights that I'm going to do. It's, been able to get the weather and stuff.
Oh, just let it play its game.
She said, but now they're going to one dog. I always know. Half of them are $800 a piece.
Well, another
That was where I was.
Sorry.
She stole your spot.
I'm Megan Medler. Sorry.
All right.
Corey.
I'll have to be. I should be there tomorrow.
oh, what it is a tree.
You're doing well.
How you doing, Corey?
Good. Keeping busy.
I work for good. I hope people aren't misbehaving too bad. What's that?
Can't seem to get out of my office long enough to find out.
Well, so it's already started.
All right.
I'm just gonna turn his.
No manual labor, we moved the chairs.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Shannon.
Good, I guess. Good. Should we sing to Tony tonight? It's his birthday.
Oh, is it? Yeah, we should. Nothing.
He has a group.
Pause for a moment and pray. Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the gift of this day. Thank you for the gift of salvation. Thank you for your grace and your mercy. Father, as the city council gathers, I pray that you would guide. Father, I pray that you would give the wisdom that only you can give. Father, give each member of the council and the mayor wisdom as they discharge their duties tonight. Father, your will be done, and may all that happens glorify your Son's name. And in his name I pray, amen.
Amen. Give me all the work, Bob.
Super.
Is it?
Tony, do you feel any older?
Is it a big milestone one? 50? Oh,
It is,
okay.
age are all milestones.
I know.
You
The
got
truth
that?
is, they're milestones for all of us. Right. You seen all
I
this?
have.
I gotta get here on time.
Yeah, I know. Right.
We'll call the meeting to order and begin with the pledge of allegiance to the flag. The agenda, I have nothing to add or subtract, so I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as printed. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Approval of the minutes, found on pages 1 through 3. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, we entertain a motion to approve the minutes as printed.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next thing on the agenda is the public input, and we're going to put a 3-minute time limit on public input, as we can't discuss or act on it. So if anybody's got anything they want to talk about that's not on the public or not on the agenda, that's what that's for. So you can begin. Anybody got anything? If not, we're going to go to the new business, and we'll start with number 1, which is C&C fireworks.
not sure who was supposed to be here, but they were calling to request $1,000 for the fireworks for this year.
Turn your mic on.
I turned everybody else's on. I'm not supposed to have to. I'm not sure who called, but somebody was supposed to call and come and spend and ask for $1,000 for the fireworks, but nobody's here. So I don't know if you want
What
to
we
wait.
did last year. I make a motion, we grant CNC their $1,000 for fireworks.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to grant CNC $1,000 for fireworks. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Right.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Number 2 is a building permit for Heather Auden Hill to amend the house plan. Has everybody looked at the building permits?
So I've got hers in front of me. What's different about this one than the first one we approved?
Just adding 6 feet in length on the foundation is the only difference. And I'm still staying within my lot and don't need a variance or anything. And then I did have a couple other questions. If somebody can go out and mark the alley right away, because Concrete is wanting to know exactly where he can set up for staking it out and stuff. And then, I also need to know repair costs for the street after sewer and water lines are dug. Or what that'll cost me to repair that.
I don't think you have any.
Okay, cause that's, Brad said I need to ask if the city still brings water and sewer to the lot.
That may be different. It used to be, and I don't know, I thought if it's in the plans, I would think that to the shut off is us, but I don't know, because you would have had a pipe.
Well, the shut off's on the north street, and she's gonna be facing to the west, so she's gonna have to tie into the line of the street on Fifth Avenue.
That would be a Terry question. I don't know why you couldn't go more.
I don't know when you're gonna be done, but when I was talking to Tony about that street, I live on that street as well, I was thinking he was gonna get to that street probably at the end of the summer, so I don't know when everything will be finished, you'll need it, it might be there anyways.
I'm not sure. Because it's a new place, but there was a house there.
That building permit, I looked at it a little bit, weren't you just adding 2 feet onto the garage?
No. Just adding 6 feet onto the foundation, like the basement.
I thought your garage grew 2 feet.
Nope, the garage is staying 30 by 30, and we're just doing
The
50.
first one was 28.
No, it was always 30 by 30.
I like that. He's got the original there.
Which you were still right at your 6 foot,
Yep,
so that's all I paid attention to when I was.
Yep. yep. Cause I was gonna do 8 feet, but then that would've caused me to have to ask for a variance to move my lot over 2 feet. So I just did 6 feet.
So I can give you marks, I mean,
I can show you where the corner pin is.
if you got a pin, I can do marks, but realistically, if mine is not official, you still, for your loan and everything, you still have to go to a surveyor.
It's surveyed, the pins are there, they're set.
I was gonna say, I
So
think
they-
somebody
you-
already did start.
You could run a streamline between the two and show her exactly where the lot line is. I should just-
All I'm saying is, like for a loan or something, they will not use that.
Right, I mean, they're survey pins, they're set.
Is that with the white and orange?
There was, no, it's, I can show you where they're at, it's right on the corner, there was a pin, or a marker, but it got taken out in the snow or whatever. Yeah, the pins, there's.
Any other questions?
Phase three is bringing sanitary sewer from the north, but I don't know how far it is from looking at the map I have here.
If it's coming from, he just mentioned he didn't have a plan because nobody asked him about it, but anyway, it sounded like it was gonna go to the west and then over, and he'd have to get measurements and know how much to pay. I don't,
Cause Brad thought that the Fifth Avenue itself was not being dug up at all. It was more
right.
it'd be the north and south.
The map shows that it's coming south from Fourth Street, but I can't tell in here how far it is.
And she's on Fifth Street. or
Fifth Avenue.
Fifth Avenue, yeah, so, yep.
Yeah.
So might have to just get a hold of Terry.
So there should be no cost, you said, for
Well,
fixing the
if
street?
you're digging another street, I thought you were coming off that one that's getting
Oh.
dug up. So,
Okay,
the avenue can change that, that's what I'm saying.
okay.
Well, why don't we have Terry go over and look at it tomorrow or something, and then can he get a hold of you to let you know? Let's do that.
Not Terry's.
Put your email text.
So are we gonna okay our building permit?
Hmm?
Yeah, she can do that, and then she'll just have to get the water part figured out, water and sewer with Terry.
So we can
What
still.
do you wanna do with that? Just
We can
to
still approve the
make
building
a-
permit though,
Yeah.
right?
You wanna just make a motion to it,
Approve it, and then she'll have to just get a hold of Terry for the water sewer regardless of what is part of the building permit.
Okay, for the building permit for the amend the house plan, let's have a motion to approve that. And we'll have Terry talk to him about the sewer.
Make a
And
motion to
wha-
approve the building permit.
We got a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the building permit to amend house plans. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Number 3 is the ball fields. I've been trying to get ahold of Roger Aberlin, but I have not had any luck. Have you, did you?
I have.
Did you get ahold of him?
I did. Yep. And so this, the whole thing is just about how are we gonna move forward with improving our ball fields? Roger Haberling has expressed interest in taking over basically the whole thing, doing whatever it takes, he said. Whether it's 10 hours a week or 30 hours a week, I mean, he said that he would take care of it. I think that's a great idea. Roger knows what the ball fields are supposed to be. He's got a lot of experience in those areas. Has got a lot of interest in doing it. I think it takes a lot of pressure off of Ron and his department if we can, basically, we're just hiring somebody else to step in here and concentrate on the ball fields, so. I think we all wanna see the ball fields looking better. I hear talk of possibly some co-ed teams getting going. Were you telling me that, Ron, or somebody was? Is that true, Megan?
Right now, we have enough for 6 teams for sure, possibly 8.
Super.
We are hosting a sign-up night on Friday for the kids, and co-ed is also encouraged to sign up.
I think that's a great thing. I think it's great if we can get that ball program reinvented and up and going again. That was a lot of fun years ago when that place was being used every night of the week. And I think that we can hire Roger and he can take care of it and we put the water on it that it needs to be. I think that's all really good things. What it's gonna take to hire Roger, I'm not 100% sure. He told me he thinks it's gonna be at least 20 to 30 hours a week to start. Just to get in there and get it, everything back in shape and trimmed up and whatever needs to be done. So,
Is he gonna utilize the ball association then?
you know, I think he would be, no, I think Roger would be more our guy in charge of the field. I mean, he will work with the ball association and whatever their plans are and work around their schedules, obviously, trying to get ready for their games, but I think he would be our guy. So a portion of the budget, Ron's budget's already includes some for the ball field, and we'll just have to figure out what part of that then that we can push over to pay Roger for doing.
I actually have a ball field budget.
Do you? Perfect.
It's for the ball. It's separate from mine.
And so, and that's really good, and I know there's a bunch of you ball field, you parents out here and people who are interested in the ball program. What are you guys thinking about all this? Sure.
Well, we've been out there, last Wednesday, Green Line came out and helped us clean up the field, but every year we have this like constant battle of keeping it up, and I feel like once, like if we got it cleaned up and there was like regular maintenance, it wouldn't take as much to get fields ready for every game. And we do have a lot of games scheduled for this year. Co-ed will be after Little League, just because there's a lot of nights, or not enough nights, and a lot of games going on at the same time. So Little League will end on July 15th, and then co-ed will start the week after that. So it's a summer-long deal, but us as volunteers, we just can't be out there mowing fields 10 minutes before a game starts. And I know that Ron's tried, but it's really hard. So having someone out there specifically for the ball field would be an immense help for everyone, I feel.
We did hire a young guy, but he's in school. He's in high school. So once school's done, he'll be more available. He's also hired for it. And then we got a gal that's full-time, and after hours she can go.
Okay, but then we also have a little concern of like knowing what needs to be done with the field, not just mowing and chalking, but like the agri line needs to be kept up, and the dragging and the fence maintenance, and the parking lot is awful. It's kind of a hazard, honestly. So just help would be nice, but also help that knows what they're doing would be even better.
Well, and we also got a problem with weeds out there, especially on the infields of the softball fields and on the baseball field. Those have to be hit regularly until we can get that cleared without killing the grass, so, that's one of the big issues. The outfield of the baseball field is or the warning track area, the fence is about ready to fall down out there. And there's no warning track per se out there. It's all just solid, hard surface. We need to get something that's loose in there. They did drag it, they did loosen it up a little bit, but we need to get some P-rock or something, some chips out there so they can recognize when they hit the warning track out there. The baselines on the baseball field are shallowed out, and so those need to be definitely addressed there. The softball fields are in decent shape other than the weeds on there, and then the dugouts need some maintenance too. But the parking lot probably is one of the worst areas out there. It's all rutted up from this winter, traffic out there, and not much gravel.
David caught a few people going down there and having fun.
Yep. There's not much gravel on
We can tell from the
there.
bottles how much fun they had.
So it's, anytime it rains or gets a little bit of moisture,
We haul some gravel out there at random times.
Yep.
We don't
Well, and I know the street sweepers dump out there too.
Yeah.
Corey, do you have anything else to add? Well, yeah, snuck in behind you.
I think one of the big things that needs to be done, when you hire someone, they need to have a list of this is what you need to do. Like, the garbage is being dumped. We can pick up all the garbage after every game, every time. But when the wind blows all night long and all weekend long and whatever, then the garbage is spread out. Well, it wasn't because we didn't pick it up, because we make the kids pick it up. But if nobody comes to dump the garbages and there's no dumpster out there to put the garbage in, then it's all over the place. Cleaning the bathrooms. You know,
Some of those
Bathrooms.
bathrooms need some actual like
Yeah.
upkeep and maintenance also.
sinks.
The sinks are bad, at least in the women's, I haven't done the men's.
Yeah, the sinks are bad. They're hard. I know you want sinks that turn on and off, but the little kids can't even push them to turn them on. They're just not good.
I would agree with that. There's a push button.
The one thing that we've talked about, I mean, we've been working out there a lot lately, but, like, there was some vandalism out there last year, and they tried to wash it off, which kinda sorta did the job, but you can still tell, so maybe painting over it, and that's something that we would be willing to do if we knew what color of paint, you know, I don't know if we need to get permission to do that kind of stuff, since it's not our building, but just some of that stuff that, we don't necessarily need to hire someone to do everything, the field upkeep and that kind of stuff, but like the big projects, we're willing to help, but we need somebody out there for regular maintenance.
The last time they had a bunch of people go over there, they just told me what they wanted to paint, pretty much come up with a color, and I went and got the paint for them, they told me how many gallons or whatever.
And the whole thing doesn't need painted, just
Right.
where it was spray painted.
And the fabric on the north field is gonna be changed, the fence from probably the northwest field, the outfield. So I ran into about 5 times in the last 6 years probably.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
So, yeah, that's getting changed.
One thing we've done too is we're putting, plastic caps on top of the fence. If you've driven by there, you've seen that out there. Hopefully that'll help protect some of the top of that fence too. As people are jumping over and stuff, they're not catching that and pulling it down and doing some of that. Plus, it's also protection for people who want to lean up against the fence too, so from a safety perspective.
I told the C&B guys not to put any of that plastic on that particular field, because they're gonna have to take it right back off.
You're doing the whole field or just the outfield?
Basically from the gate, when you come from the north, there's a gate there,
Okay.
and it goes, maybe 30 feet, and then it's the whole
Outfield to the other gate?
outfield to the other gate.
Okay.
And you can kind of tell.
And that's
see the
where-
colors kind of left. I'm
You're not doing
trying
anything to
to,
the south field then at this point?
not as far as fence,
Okay.
because I don't have, it's not cheap and put that stuff up.
And then what about the baseball field in the outfield there? There's, most of the concrete's coming out of the
Yep,
ground
it's
there.
lit, this last snow, this last big wind really raised that. The thing about the fence on that field, the idea years ago was whoever got hold of the city, they were supposed to take them down every fall. And they're leaving them up, there's.
No, the sign, not the
The sign,
fence.
the sign. But, there's some out there that are, they're businesses that aren't here anymore. One's Tucker's, one is, Midwest Supply. I mean, that's 2 that I can think of right offhand.
Probably a couple others.
There's like 7 of them, and there's some that have changed
I know there's
names.
one on the dugout that's no longer in business here
Right,
either too,
right.
so.
But the idea was whoever got permission to do that, they were gonna take them off, and they're still up. It's not,
The amateur-
city.
the
That was an
amateurs.
amateur fundraiser.
Could be, I don't know, but
The
they need
amateurs
some-
are who put
Because
those.
they are not good for that. When 70-mile-an-hour hits a 4x8 sheet of plywood or whatever it is, that's a lot of wind resistance.
But those posts are, I mean,
I know
there's
that.
this much concrete sticking out there. I mean, that
We
needs some
can, we can
fill.
get that fixed. They're gonna go down, we'll suck the dirt around 7, reset.
Might put a little dirt in there too around there to get that built back up.
That's kinda how it is around the dugouts too, that concrete's sticking up and we trip over it. Same, the concrete going into the concession stand is like that, it's fallen into the building. So it's like this, so all the water runs to the building instead of away from the building like it should.
Agri Lime, the guy that normally brings it, they don't get there anymore, and you get it from Shakopee, Minnesota. So that is definitely, I don't know what we're gonna do. I asked him, I said, do you know anybody in their major trucking company who stands? They don't have anybody that goes that way at all. So I said, if you can find out, let me know, and I've been kind of looking around a little bit. So that is definitely gonna be fun to find, because it comes from Shakopee. There's one that's at Mankato, but that's not very good agri-lime, it's like mud.
So if Roger Haberling takes this, why don't you guys make a list of the things that need to be repaired out there? Because a lot of us don't make it out there to even see what's going on. So if you could come up with a list of what needs to be done, and we can give it to Roger, maybe he can get some of this taken care of for you.
We will give you or get the list to Roger, or we can get it here to the city hall.
Yeah, whatever.
Pushed out, so.
I think we're gonna need to meet our street department, Parks Department with Ron and go over his budget and see what's available in your budget just for the ball field.
It's a ball field
Right,
budget,
and
it's
just-
not mine.
Okay,
It's ball
it's
field.
just ball field,
Yeah,
so.
you can go to 101-451-0, whatever that number is. They
Nice
changed it
guess.
up. They changed it last year, so I.
Sure, Ron, sure.
They put
You-
3 numbers in it.
You guys are good with Roger coming out there, and I think Roger would be wonderful. I mean, his kids grew up out there, he knows baseball, he knows what it's gonna take to make that thing usable. He's excited to have a big season out there, and we talked about, you know, the glory days of when that ball field was big and fun, and everybody enjoyed it in town. And how cool would it be if we could get back to something like that? And so,
So is it my understanding that Roger will take care of the ball fields? We're still gonna have summer help?
there'll still be some summer help to be filling in, and we can, and Roger, I'm guessing we need to finish this out with Roger. I just had a phone conversation with him about how many hours. He just said he will do whatever it takes. If it's 10 hours, if it's 30 hours, he didn't care. He just wants to make the field right and.
Run anything we got.
Right, and so he asked about that. I think he's planning on fence repairs, warning track. He knows everything. He's been looking at it too and knows that. Have you guys talked to him at all?
I didn't even know he was interested
All
in
right,
doing this.
so yeah.
He met quite a while ago, and I assumed he was gonna apply. So that's what we're at.
And I just talked to him today and he said, yes, he is definitely interested. So,
We need to probably get a meeting set up, our next board meeting or something, and have him come to that, which is, what do you think?
I think that'd be a great fit for you guys. He's not a kid. I mean, he knows what to do. He'll get it
You
done.
can run everything.
He can run everything, you know.
And have the help he needs?
And we got summer kids that would be able to drag them fields and prevent some things like that. Last year,
Well,
we
yeah,
didn't
'cause-
have anybody, they left in July.
If they were drug all the time, that would take care of a big
Mhm.
part of the weed problem, because they just can't start when they're drug out of it all the time.
They've already started out there, we've been.
Right.
We drug it last weekend, so pretty hard.
The warning track needs some material, like, whether it be,
That's-
I think
that's gotta
the
be-
chips might work better.
You don't want chips, cause they're gonna be, they'll roll an ankle. Cause they don't set up. You don't want it hard, but you don't want it to where it just rolls.
I don't know if the sand would stay.
Well, if you use 3/8 chips like you use for chip seal operation, you're not gonna roll an ankle on those.
It's just like the playground equipment.
That's P-rock.
That's right.
That's P-rock, so we don't want
Chips.
Chips,
No,
that-
that's
the
chips.
chips that you use
That's
when
what I
you
have,
chip seal,
3/8 P-rock.
that's what when you
That's
oil.
what I have, yeah. It's the same exact stuff, cause I got it out of the same body.
And all the stuff that DOT uses on the road is a 3/8 inch,
Yeah,
that
they might
is
even,
a limestone, chip limestone.
some of it is, some of it's P-rock. Just depends where you're at, where the availability is.
Anything else?
We can maybe look at putting that in with sand and maybe
Or-
make some.
Mike, are you guys gonna meet then with Roger?
We'll meet with Roger, guess we wanna try to get a hold of him, or if he can get a hold of us, if you're gonna talk to Roger, just let him know to get a hold of any one of us board members here, so. We'll meet with him, we're having a meeting this Friday,
This Friday?
7:00.
Yeah, we're gonna have 5 to 7, we're gonna try and have like an open house for, it's always hard to get a hold of the little kids, the T-ballers and stuff that aren't in the school system. Then we've got some sunshine kids and kind of closer, kids that maybe are close, but they don't actually go to the Miller school.
At the ball field.
It's not my legit.
So ball field on 5:00 on Friday.
5 o'clock,
Five-
you mean?
5 o'clock, you say?
Well,
5
5
to
to
7
7 is the
Sign ups and then we'll
have
meet
a
as a
meeting
board
after.
after that, so,
As a board after 7.
yes.
Well,
Thank you.
before we move on here, I'd like to personally thank the volunteers for going out and working on that, and also C&B Operations for furnishing what they did out there. So I'd like that on the record.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna wait a minute until we have the Board of Adjustments meeting.
Do you wanna make a motion to hire Roger and then discuss a salary with him so that he can get started, or do you wanna wait until the 3rd to hire him?
I mean, I guess if he could start next week, we should have something, we should have him hired, even though we haven't discussed, you know, we're just gonna give him an hourly thing, how are we gonna work on, how are we gonna figure that out? And I think it's a great idea that we're gonna put some money into the ball fields and get this going, and I hope everybody's in agreement, we're gonna be putting water on this thing, and let's keep it nice. Let's spend a little money and make this nice. And
Probably
we've
gonna
got a
have to have
good
another
group
special
here.
meeting, right?
Well, we're gonna probably have to have one in yet anyway, so
Yeah, so we can wait and do that at that special meeting we're gonna have to have this week.
if we end up having a recount, we'll have to have a special meeting before
Right.
May 3rd, so we can maybe. Other
So
than
we
if he
wouldn't
wants
have
to
to
get
do it.
started right away, we wouldn't have him hired until whenever that special meeting might be.
Well, we're gonna have to finish this after this next item on the, because it's 7:30 and it's time for a public hearing for the Board of Adjustments with Resolution 2021-7 variance for Dwight and Connie Amer. So I'm gonna entertain a motion to adjourn as a common council and return as the Board of Adjustments.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn as a common council and reconvene as the Board of Adjustments. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. So this is Resolution 2021-7. Resolution number 2021-7 is a resolution authorizing a variance. Whereas Chapter 40-31 of the municipal zoning regulations of the city of Miller authorizes a variance for property in the residential district, and whereas Dwight and Connie Amer own the property described as the east 10 feet of the vacated alley, the west 15 feet of Lot 5, all of Lot 6, Block 3, original Miller survey, The west 10 feet of the vacated alley, the east 5 feet of lot 25, block 3, E.J. Miller's resurvey addition to the city of Miller, and have applied for a variance on said property. Now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Miller that a variance is hereby granted for the above described property under the following conditions. Number 1, the owners of the property described as the east 10 feet of the vacated alley, the west 15 feet of lot 5, all of lot 6, block 3, the original Miller survey. The west 10 feet of the vacated alley, the east 5 feet of lot 25, block 3, E.J. Miller's resurvey addition to the city of Miller have applied for a variance on said property. The variance will allow for the placement of a garage to be placed closer to the west lot line on said property as set forth in the zoning regulations. The existing garage is 1.5 feet from the west lot line. Any other ordinances or sections of the municipal code of the city of Miller that may apply will be complied with. This variance will apply to any subsequent owner as it relates to said construction permitted by this resolution, adopted this 19th day of April 2021. Now, we need a motion to either approve this resolution number 2021-7 or reject it.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 2021-7.
Have we got a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve resolution number 2021-7. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll call, and I'll start with Alderman Schwartz.
Aye.
Alderman Zeller.
Aye.
Alderman Odegaard.
Aye.
Alderman Rangel.
Aye.
Alderwoman, Lichty.
Aye.
Alderman Steers.
Aye.
Hearing 6 ayes and no nays, the motion carried by unanimous ballot. Motion carried. Now, do you want to do any more with the ball deal?
We gotta approve the building.
Oh, wait a minute, we gotta go back into regular session.
Well, let's approve this building permit. The building permit that goes with the variance.
Okay, we need a motion and a second to approve the building permit that goes with the
I'll make
variance.
the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the building permit for the variance. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Now, was there any unfinished deal with the ballpark? If not,
We need a motion to come out of,
oh, yeah. Okay, we need a motion to come out of the Board of Adjustments and return to Common Council.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn as a Board of Adjustment and come out as a Common Council. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Number 4 is an easement for Wayne Runke, and that's found on pages 5 through 9.
Do we want to go back to the ball field?
Hmm?
Want to go back and discuss the ball field?
Well, let's do this one as long as we got it up here, and then we'll go back there. Let's do this easement as long as we're working on it. Okay. The easement agreement. This agreement made and entered into this, be the 20th.
19.
Yeah, 19th. 19th day of April 2021 between the City of Miller, a South Dakota Municipal Corporation of 120 West 2nd Street, Miller, South Dakota 57362. Hereinafter referred to as City, and Wayne A. Runge and Charlene Runge, husband and wife of 117 and a half North Broadway Avenue, Miller, South Dakota 57362. Hereinafter referred to as Runge's, their successors and assigned witnesses. You got. Whereas the city is the owner of the following described real property located in the city of Miller, Han County, South Dakota, referred to as East 2nd Avenue right-of-way in Miller, Han County, South Dakota, and whereas Runke's are the owners of the following described real property in Miller, Han County, South Dakota. The south 70 feet of Lot 6, Block 1, Garlick's addition to the City of Miller, according to the recorded plot thereof. Whereas a residential home has heretofore been constructed so that it encroaches on the above described right-of-way of East 2nd Avenue along the west lot line of Lot 6 by approximately 3 feet, in addition to 2 concrete driveways and stairs, and any other encroachment as shown on the inspection certificate prepared by Michael R. Orban and dated March 22nd, 2021, a copy of which is attached heretofore and incorporated herein by this reference. And whereas Runke's desire to have an easement for the use of the portion of said East 2nd Avenue right-of-way as described above and on said inspection certificate for the purpose of using, maintaining, and repairing and said residential structure. And whereas the city desires to grant such an easement to Runge's. Now, therefore, in consideration of the premises and covenants herein contained, city and Runge's hereby agree as follows. Number 1, the city hereby grants the Runge's their heirs, successors, and assigns an easement to the right of using and laying all of the encroachments on the portion of the East 2nd Avenue right-of-way as described herein and shows on the inspection certificate attached hereto and incorporated herein, and the right of ingress and egress upon said portion of East 2nd Avenue right-of-way for the purposes of maintaining and repairing the residential structure and premises. Number 2, city and Runge's agree that in the event of the residential structure is destroyed or removed, this easement shall terminate. Number 3, the grant of easement shall run with the land and shall be binding upon and shall ensure to the benefit of the parties heretofore, their heirs, successors, and assigns, and the witnesses, therefore, the parties heretofore have set their hands the day and year first above written. I would entertain a motion to, has everybody looked at this and no one understand what's going on here? I would entertain a motion to either approve or reject this easement.
If you have questions, Dan's here to explain it.
Go for it, Dan.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right over here.
You want me to sing it?
Would you?
Jump in.
Wayne had this structure built many years ago. He said it was approved by the person responsible for variances back in the day. I don't even know who that would have been. I think this was probably done, in the early 80s, I believe.
Probably Jim Lewis on that.
Sounds right. And actually, when Mike looked at it, Mike told me that he wasn't even sure that it actually encroached. He said it was so close that he couldn't really tell if it did or not, but it was close enough that a variance should be done, so. Don't have anything else to add other than that.
So looking at the picture, it looks like the garage wall is right on the lot line,
Right,
and the front steps are within that 20-foot right of way. Because he's on a corner lot.
And so nothing's changing, we're not doing
Nothing's
anything.
changing, no.
We just want a variance.
this is just making legal what's been done.
Legality, okay.
And you guys
What's
all know
already
we've
done.
had we do have many encroachments onto city property from buildings that are built from the 40s on, and well, much earlier than that, actually. So these are things that were done kind of with the blessing of whoever was responsible for that from the city standpoint back in the day. But they didn't really used to monitor this stuff quite so close. So out of the houses that I've sold through the years, we've had to come with you folks with many variances saying the garage is sticking out onto the city property. We gotta make it legal, or we gotta make them tear down their garage. It's been there for 40 years. So it's the same thing. Yep. Any questions?
Together, build your house first and then ask permission.
Right? Trying to use every little inch, you know?
Well, I'm gonna call for a motion to approve it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the easement with Wayne Runkey's, for Wayne Runkey's house being too close or on the right of way. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
I
Those opposed, motion carried. Now let's go back to the baseball deal. Do you want a motion or something to where you can have the authority to hire somebody or make a deal with?
I think maybe we should just go ahead and hire him right now, and he didn't, I guess if what we can offer him isn't satisfactory to Roger, he'll just say, well, I'm not doing it for that, and he'll quit. In the meantime, if we go ahead and hire him and we'll get this figured out, he can go ahead and start next week if he wants to start. I mean, I think it's too bad to not hire him, the time is here, spring is here.
Now, I understand we have a couple people hired already to do work down there.
But
One.
Basically one, the other one's just gonna fill in for mowing any of the lots anywhere around.
so they will still be mowing down there, and Roger will be basically overseeing them.
Can be, the one maybe at the park helping or at the airport or around like the pool or whatever. We got more than, we're over 70+ acres of what we mow with lawnmowers.
I think we can keep them all busy, yeah.
Everybody wants us to patch potholes, not sit on mowers.
Absolutely. Your time better spent working on streets and other stuff than chasing softball around.
So
It's kind of like half the year you have a sport kid hired. It's supposed to be down there, but half the time he's either at the park or the airport, so.
I think it's a great thing that Roger can concentrate on the ball fields, and, what I'm really hoping is Roger said he doesn't want a 5-year contract. Maybe he'll do it for a year or 2, and somebody will say, that was great, and they will pick up after Roger when he decides he's done in a couple of years. And we can have somebody who can just concentrate on keeping that facility up. We've got a beautiful facility, so, yes, Rita?
Do you have, you offered him a wage?
We have not. I just talked to him today for the first time. He couldn't be here tonight. No, we've got a budget already, as Ron said, that there's already a ball field budget.
But can you say what you would offer?
You know, I don't know. We're gonna have to probably discuss that in a, I don't know if where some of our other summer help is at, and start with some of that. But, and then, of course, and, you know, we have to take into consideration Ron is not just a high school kid who can't, with no experience, not Roger, I'm sorry. Not Ron. Sorry, Ron.
He's not a high school kid.
I act like one. But my knees tell me different.
Well, I was thinking of a good figure, but I was thinking Roger was such a good work.
I think he'll do wonderfully, and I mean, I guess I would like us to just, I don't know if we can even do that. Can we just hire him and then we can discuss this and then
We'll have to
approve a
make a
wage
motion.
at the next time,
At the next meeting.
at the next meeting? And
Have
then
a
if he wants
conversation.
to go get started, he can get started. There's gonna be a big trust factor there on his part that, yes, we're gonna do this, but, I mean, if he starts now and we've hired him, we are going to pay him.
Well, I think it's a no-brainer not to hire somebody down there, because if you can get people to come to town here to play baseball, softball, t-ball, or whatever, they're gonna spend money in town. And that's what it's all about.
And it's a great social event for the whole city.
Yes.
It really is. It's a lot of fun. And Dustin, you'll probably, before the lights out there is gonna kind of fall to, is that correct? That'd be in Dustin's, I don't know if you've,
There are lights that are out. We take the fire truck out there, the ladder truck, because it will reach the top of it.
Really?
The other truck won't. They have to go up, straight up as high as they can, and then they have to climb the rest.
will Dustin be in the ladder truck?
Yeah, if he trusts me.
Then he
No,
won't.
it'll reach up, it'll reach the top with room to spare.
If I climb
Well, we gotta-
the pole, I might forget what I'm doing by the time I get up there.
You and me both.
Hold oxygen up there for you.
Well, the only thing I can say about it, I don't wanna be in the job description to have to go up there. Or there might be a lot burned out before you get them in.
So we can do this motion to hire Roger,
Wages to be determined.
wages to be determined. You know, I think we're gonna have to talk with Roger a little bit and come up with what we think is a fair thing, and so I make a motion.
Go
I make a
ahead,
motion.
go ahead and make a motion, let's do it.
I make a motion that we hire Roger Haberling to be our ballpark maintenance manager.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Purchase a mower. Ron, I see you got some prices. Hey, thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
fall, we sold, the mower that is normally at the airport with the idea of buying one this spring. I forgot all about it till the other day, so I went and got these quotes. They're both I basically am pretty open, but I require 27 horse, zero turn, commercial grade mower. And these are the two prices I got. $94.50 was a Gravely, and the other one was $9,500 from it's John Deere from Greenland. We've got both. The other mowers, or the mower we sold was a Gravely, and we have a John Deere. So vendor wise, I don't care. They're both good mowers. But it's gonna the new one will go to the park will go to the ball field, and the ball field mower will go at the airport. It's usually how I rotate them.
They both quoted on the same specifications? Well, there's $50 difference.
Warranty's the same.
And
Pretty much, I think the Gravely's a 5-year. Not sure about the John Deere. About the same. They're both gonna need to order. They both said it would be May sometime when they got in. COVID is definitely not helping anybody right now. I still have a big mower for the time being, sits at the street shop, and if we get real big pinch, I also have a tractor style mower, Cub Cadet. That goes when it's raining, and when it finally quits raining, you put them all out there, so.
What's the last mower we bought?
That was a 72-inch Gravely. This is a 52-inch Gravely, and is it a 52 or 4-inch John Deere? What do you call that? We have a John Deere at the park and I believe it's a Simplicity at the ball field.
So you only have 2 mowers now?
We have 2, and we need 3.
Okay.
I spent a little time looking up those mowers. Do you know if that Gravely's got a Kawasaki or a Gravely motor?
Kawasaki, that's what it had. We've had real good luck with Kawasaki with the exception of one, and it was all warranty issue. So,
It looks to me like you're getting a heck of a deal on that John Deere. That's about a $12,000 lawnmower.
is it?
Yeah. The other one.
And I don't know what they list for, I have no idea. I just told them to give me the price, so.
Gravely lists for around $8,500.
Does it?
It lists for how much?
85.
And they're offering it for $94.50?
For the commercial Gravely, because there are other Gravely's out there.
Yeah, the other one is the commercial entry level. That's got the Gravely motor, and that's around 65.
Yeah, I can't tell you that, I don't know it, I just told them I needed commercial, and that's what they gave me the prices, so.
The reason I asked you where you got the last one and you said it was a Gravely, your last big purchase is, I think shifting it back and forth is a nice idea. We got the last one, a Gravely from
From the Titan.
From Titan, that maybe
It's
to go
still
to
Hand
John.
County implement.
Right, yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is like, that's not right. That we switch it over to John Deere and we can reconsider, going back to,
Sure.
we're spreading our business out that way a little bit. I like that idea.
Works too.
And I like what Jeff said. So.
Right, and with what you said, they were the guys that were out working at the ball field,
Who was?
the CD guy.
Oh, it was CB, okay, perfect. Yeah.
Make a motion, we purchase John Deere lawnmower.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to purchase a John Deere mower. Is there any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Number 6.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Ron.
Number 6, 2015 Ford Explorer police car.
I talked a little bit to Shannon today about that 2015. He would like the city just to keep it and take the markings off of it and let, I know that the electric guys are gonna have to go to Minnesota, May for 4 days, once a quarter, right? For 4 days. And that'd be an ideal car for them to take. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got 106,000 miles on it. He says runs really good. So his idea was just to keep it in case they needed a backup whenever, or if the city employees needed to go someplace, they have a vehicle that they can use. So that was his idea of it. I thought maybe he'd be here to say something, but. So I guess it's up for discussion. If we want to keep it.
Otherwise, we have to surplus it.
Yep.
And it's gonna bring very little.
Very little. And as long as we can utilize it.
106,000 miles is nothing. I mean, that's not, should not be an issue at all.
Is this the car that is being replaced? Like, I know you
No.
approved them to get a new car.
It's the white one.
Okay.
The other one was at 18.
I'm not gonna get new cars.
So we can surplus it at any time.
Oh, yeah,
So why don't we
surplus it
just
at
for
any
now
time.
go ahead and hang on to it?
He just thought it'd be a good idea to have it there for the employees. They had to go to Pier or wherever they had to go, they have a vehicle that they can jump in and go without having to use their own personal vehicles.
Or does somebody wanna move that then?
Sure, I'll make that motion. We go ahead and keep the 2015 Ford.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to keep the 2015 police car, just to use by the employees going back and forth to meetings. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next one is Justin Graham. And you got a list of stuff
I do
on
have
here,
a
so
list,
I'll
yeah.
just turn you loose.
So, I guess what I was wanting to know is on these electrical locates, I've been doing a lot of them. And I wanna know, is there anything in writing that states how far we go? What are we taking ownership of? There's some of these houses that have the meter on the house, and then there's some of them that the meter was on the pole, which was overhead at one point, and then they just cut the pole off, and the meter's still on the pole, but then after that, technically, it's after the meter. So I guess I'm looking for is there anything in writing, or what are we taking ownership of? Most towns that I've talked to, we only go to the meter. There's some cases where, so somebody calls in a locate, and I only go to the meter, and after the meter, their secondaries get hit. Are we gonna get, I mean, I didn't put paint on the ground, so it's not making me liable, but is it our responsibility? It's all really need something set.
So are you talking for the projects or for building permit purposes?
I'm talking for locates.
Right.
Locates, so Westcott calls in and they're taking a lot of these services for venture to the house. I mean, an example would be Munkers over here. Their meter was on the pole, but I went ahead and located it because there was a meter disconnect there, and there was 3 pipes coming out of there. Well, I wanted to make sure that they weren't getting hit, but technically, should I do that? According to James Monroe with MMUA, no, I shouldn't have done that, because as soon as I put paint on the ground, I made myself liable after that meter.
So you're saying the homeowner should be liable for a certain part of locating? Isn't that why they call the locate number?
That's what I'm saying, that's how other places do it, but I just wanna know what you guys are gonna back on this thing. Now, I know like Westcott, I've already had the conversation with him now that if I go to the meter, he's got his own locator with him now too. That he'll go and he does check and do his own locating, but who's to say the next guy does, has a locator with him and does that. I mean, I don't see, that's what I'm wondering, if there's anything set in stone. I mean, I've asked a lot of questions when I come into this position, because I've worked in Rapid City, I've worked in Huron, I've worked in Aberdeen. Every power company does everything different. I mean, even just learning, talking to Bill, we'll hook up the secondaries out of the transformer, but we don't install, dig, or any of that. There's a lot of other places that have. The power company does it. Like in Huron Northwestern, I'll dig the trench. We're the contractors for the house. We'll have all that ready. Northwestern will come lay their wire in the trench, but then we bury it. I mean, they lay their own wire in the trench, and they hook up the meter and they hook it to the pole. And so they're doing more of it there than, So there's just a lot of things. I mean, I want to know where are we at with. I mean, I think it's very clear to just say we're going to the meter, because that's the majority of people I've talked to. That's what they do. But
I'd be willing to bet not one of us here can go through that answer.
right,
Because
and I just didn't know if it was in writing anywhere, or if there's anything that you guys are aware of, or.
What you do, that brings up a good question though, is the city side up to the meter, if the meter is in somebody's backyard and it goes onto the house, that should also be located, but we don't know what every homeowner's doing from the house to the garage or the house to the shed. If there's other wires that are buried in the ground under there.
Yep.
If you're the guy to locate electric wires and the homeowner calls you for that, and all of a sudden there's 2 more wires in the ground that you didn't know about, you really can't go.
Yeah, because I located 3 of them. We had 1 to the garage over there, and there's 2 to the house over there. And then off of that same deal, I couldn't pick them up. I don't know they're cut, but I'm pretty sure there was locates going to Waters too.
Some landowners, and you better know what's there.
Right, and how old is it,
They might have been there 30 years before they bought the place, and they don't even know what's there.
And I don't know, I guess, my idea that maybe it needs to be cut and dry, like we'll locate to the meter, but maybe we should get a document stating that we're not liable if you want us to do more locates past the meter or something. I'm just trying to protect,
That's what the whole thing really comes down to, is our liability beyond the meter, and that's what you're concerned about, so.
right. Yep, I just want to
Sounds
spell
like
out.
a good question for the attorney.
I think that's a really good idea, because it's too bad if you are right there and you can do a little bit more locating and make it easy for the homeowner, that's great. I mean, I think we all think
Right, and
that,
that's,
as long as we don't have the liability, if they agree to it, they'll sign off you. But yeah, somehow we have to not be liable
mean,
for it.
not every case is the same,
Right.
depending on,
There again, I think a guy needs to talk it over with the attorney to where if we stretch ourselves over onto the landowner's property, do we automatically become liable?
Well, it would have to be at the landowner's request.
Yeah.
but
Sometimes
you're
you have-
talking even the meter. The White County's meters on their house, so you're even talking the secondaries, which are on your property, but the meter's on his house. Is that kind of what you're saying, Jim?
Yeah, just,
But they also have power coming from that meter that goes to the garage.
Yep, and out to the camper pit.
Yeah, okay.
which a lot of people don't know where they're at or, what they are. somehow we need to make if we are gonna go onto the property, I think we need to make ourselves where we're not liable if you miss something, you know. I mean, you try to do your best not to miss something, but.
Right. And there again, if it does become our issue and I miss something, then there again, it's probably cheaper for me to dig it up and fix it myself than it would be to call a contractor in, and then that's just more time and everything else, and yeah, I kinda like what you're saying, just figure out the whole thing and get away with it all, but unless, like I said, there's a paper that can be signed or.
And how valid is that paper? Is that
Yeah,
paper-
I don't-
That's where we need to talk to the attorney about it.
So. 'Cause,
Very good question.
Is this something you run by our municipal electric association also?
I kinda already
You already
did.
have?
That's the meter deal. That's what really kinda brought it up.
Did you ask Bill what he ever did, by any chance? Did you just
I haven't talked to him about it, but.
see how he handled it? I'm just curious if he.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many, I've talked to him about, like I said, even the installing of power to house and stuff, and it just kind of baffled me from what I've seen too, so. Not saying any of it's right or wrong, or it's just what our practice would be. I like to have it just, this is the way it is, and.
I think you're wise in getting something for the community, something we have written, saying this is what we're gonna do. And follow that guideline for our own protection.
Exactly.
That's very good.
No, I think you need that too, to where everybody gets used to sending.
So I think Jim's right, though, maybe we should contact the attorney and go through them and get everything done legal.
Right.
And get it in writing, so we're protected, and you're protected. Good thing you brought it up. Like Jeff said, none of us sitting up here would think about something like that.
Yep, so, I guess get the ball rolling on that, or,
Do you wanna come in tomorrow, we can get an email sent to the attorney and have her start looking at it.
I'll be here tomorrow, yeah. Okay. Of course, I'm just learning the rules and everything, so the trucking inspection. Basically, my understanding, anything over $750, I can't just go out and do. Well, we started looking at truck inspections, and it was dated like 2019, so they haven't been done in at least a year. And they were all $1,000 bill a piece, and so.
You're talking about dielectric testing and.
Yep, pins, checking pins, all of the above, you know. None of them had a sticker on them. That was another thing that, James Monroe with MMAU, we were going over, and he was surprised that they have been getting inspected every year since 2019, but they got missed in 20. But there was no documentation on the truck that we could find. But anyway, so they're $1,000 bill, both of them that we've seen on record, and so that's the only reason I brought up. Can I get them inspected? And like you said, that's more or less a safety thing that you normally do or whatever anyways, but I'm just trying to find learning the ropes here, I guess.
Sure. So you're gonna get them inspected, or you did get them inspected?
I have not, no.
Okay,
He's
because it's
just wondering if he can
$1,000.
spend the money.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
I think it's
So-
important that they are inspected for
For
all
no-
safety aspects of it.
For normal maintenance, do they have to get that same permission to spend over the $750 for a normal maintenance item?
I don't remember Bill ever coming in.
I don't remember this question ever coming
Yeah.
up.
No.
And that's the thing, I'm learning from Terry and Ron and stuff, I mean, that's stuff that just needs to be done. They don't usually come to you guys, like I said, I'm learning,
Right.
just being open and
Yeah, that's good.
upfront right here.
I'd say get them inspected.
And for
Well, I
those
think
normal maintenance items, I mean, it's nice that you let us know, thank you, that's great. But yeah, I mean, I think we want you to be keeping up with your normal maintenance stuff that is You know, it's kind of the special items and something over and above, you know, that,
Well, I think they need to be, I think it'd be a great idea to inspect them, this for the safety aspect of it.
When they go through them trucks, they go through them pretty thoroughly. They check everything from the drivetrain to the.
I don't ever
booms
remember.
To the, you know, pins in the booms, bolts and.
And that, you know, not like we have overhead here, we're working on, I mean, I have streetlights, which that's where I'm more concerned with the pins than the electric test, but eventually we're gonna be helping Springs or Plank or, you know, you never know, they still got a lot of overhead, so we wanna have the capabilities to be able to go help them too, once we get past and we start working together. So, and I just wanted to make sure.
I don't think anybody's gonna question if you'd have a maintenance problem.
Right.
You got all 4 trucks on that boom truck, or tires on that boom truck go out, it's gonna be over $1,000. You don't have to come and
Okay.
ask us to get 4 tires repaired.
I just wanna make sure before I started making calls and stuff, did you have anybody that you knew?
The only place well, one of the Dakota Energy always dealt with was Telelect out of Watertown.
Okay.
And they come in here and set up right in your yard.
Telelect, yeah. I think some of our other ones were actually Terex, but they might have switched hands too, I think I heard maybe, so.
Yeah.
But then I can get some quotes and whatever.
They switched hands, I know that. They might not even be out of Watertown anymore, it might be somewhere else that you gotta set up to come out of.
Sure. Okay.
Pretty sure the guys that came to Dakota Energy were out of Watertown.
And I think that was water, even the Terex bill, which, like I said, that was 2019. Would they have been in business in 19?
They'd probably been that company, yeah.
Okay.
There was one other company that used to come into Dakota Energy and do it, and I can't remember who they were. I always thought Telelect did, or Terex, whatever, did a better job than what they did.
Okay.
I'm sure they're still up in Watertown, because I think Tom's daughter works there in the office.
Okay. Well, you want me to move on my list?
Sure.
Alright, so the old overhead transformers, and I mean, there is old ground transformers. They're on that lot, they're on this lot, they're out at the gravel pile, they're all over. Basically, I'm told that I have to go through and surplus these. I mean, I don't think we're gonna get much. It's one of them deals I'm gonna try to get, I wanna get a hold of TNR. They come check the oil. They see if they're good. I just wanna get them out of here before they start rusting and leaking all over and we have contamination with the earth, and then we have to try to sit here and get rid of that dirt and whatever else, whatever mess and stuff we gotta get.
Didn't Bill just give some of them away, just to get rid of them?
No, he sold them. He had some, there were a couple towns that needed some. So
Well, we
he
could offer
surplused
them,
a
and-
couple of them for $350.
Yeah, they're not gonna do us any good, why not just get rid of them?
Well,
TNR, the way I understand it, they, and I need to have the conversation with them, whether they're gonna wanna test them before they give us a price. Or if I can say, here they are, come get them. The guys that I've talked to are dealing, they get so much, kilowatt. I mean, it's not a lot, it's something better than nothing, but you're getting rid of the headache. I've already talked to, Plank, Wessington, Springs, just to see if they needed any. Yeah.
They
No.
don't?
No, but they're sitting out in the dirt out there, sitting in, basically they're on pallets, they've been sitting there so long that they're touching the dirt now. And of course, they're an eyesore and they're taking up room and I don't, again, trying to find out the place here, so we surplus. So I've gotta go through and figure out this is the way I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong. I gotta go through and write down what it is, get the VIN number, do all this work before I call them and even have them get rid of these things, or am I wrong, or, I mean, I'm just looking at it do we do the same thing if I take on an old light fixture and I replace it with an LED? Do I have to, can I just throw that fixture away, cause it's junk? It's, you
The
know,
fixture, yeah, you can. Do those, I would check your inventory. If they're listed out individually on your inventory, we're going to need to surplus them individually. If there's just 17 transformers of this style, we can probably surplus 15 of those transformers or whatever is out there of that style. So kind of see how it is on your inventory.
Okay. if you
Because
can
that's
print
what,
that out, we can,
Yeah, if they're on the inventory anywhere, you have to surplus them.
right.
In order for Dakota Energy to get rid of them, we always oil sampled them and had a PCB sample sheet for every transformer that was gonna be destroyed or whatever.
right, and the way I understand it, either we can do that, or TNR might even do that,
They
and I don't
might,
know.
but
That's a conversation I gotta have to see where the dollar, it's, whether it's worth it, or whether I can just say, here they are.
I think we had a problem with that, one company was junking them out, that they were gonna take the samples, and we never ever got feedback saying they were non-detect or whatever.
We want documentation saying
Yeah.
that we do not, no longer have them, is what you're saying.
It's your problem.
Okay,
It's,
well, that's good to know.
if there's a PCB spill, it can cost a lot of money.
Right, and that's, if you drive out there right now, I'm not kidding you, there's a lot of them sitting in the dirt, and I mean, it rusts through, whatever. And then there might be somebody that can use them, and we wanna get them out of here while they are in decent shape, because the longer they sit around, they are junk to us, but they might be worth something to somebody else.
I would say the sooner you can figure out the proper way to get rid of them, we should just get rid of them. No matter if
Right.
you get a little of nothing, it's better than
Very
creating more
valueless to
issues.
us, so.
TNR or Jerry's Electric or
Who was the other one?
Jerry's Electric
Gary's?
out of Coleman also.
Okay,
They're both out of Coleman.
okay.
They both rebuild older transformers and pretty sure either one of them will come in here and haul them out of here.
Well, my understanding, they were waiting for a semi-load, there's definitely a semi-load out there.
Get them out of here.
Yep, the sooner the better.
What was that other?
Jerry's Electric.
Yeah, I got that one, who was the other one on the truck, inspection?
Oh,
Telelect?
Telelect or
Terex.
Terex, whichever it is.
Use Terex.
Okay, yeah, Terex is the one I knew of, but I didn't know what was Telelect.
That's not apple for apple, I think.
I was gonna say, aren't they kind of the
I
same?
think Delec is even out of business. They
Yeah,
sold
I
out
think
maybe
Terex.
Terex, yeah.
The guy you talked to from Terex is actually from here, Kenny Blossom, used to be.
So anything else on the transfers, we'll go through the inventory and
Get
try to
rid
get
of
that.
Get rid of them.
Get rid of them.
If they'll come in here and take them without oil inspections, fine, but we wanna make sure we're safe, you know.
Okay,
We don't want ownership after they leave.
right.
Someone else has them
Yeah,
and
and
then
that's
they track
where-
it back to us.
The serial numbers probably would be good then. To see, I guess. Next topic. What else we got? Well, okay, so the electrical building, hopefully we can get some money for them transformers. I guess that was another thing. I've talked to a few of you guys, and you kind of brought it up. The south part of the electrical building here used to have some windows, and now there's no windows there. There's basically holes, but on the inside it's tin. And so if you ever get a chance, you go out there and look, if there's snow or rain or anything, I'm just assuming it's running down inside the wall. It looks good on the inside of the building, but on the outside of the building, it doesn't look very good, and it can't be good for future, for the future of that building either. And so, the rest of the building don't look too bad. I mean, there is some window issues we need to address. I guess I'd looking to see you guys take a look at it, and then, and we don't really have it budgeted, but if we can get some monies out of these transformers, maybe we can do something with that building, or,
The east windows need to just have the OSB doesn't weather very well, and that's shot.
right?
That should just rip off that OSB, see what's in behind it. And then maybe bring it out a little bit and then put some barn steel over top of it.
Yep.
Color that would
Look decent.
look decent on there. South side of the shop looks to me like it should be stripped with 1x or 2x and put tin over it. The only problem I have is the very top, there's a gutter. What do you do when you get up there and have to get in behind the gutter? I don't know if you'd have to put some flashing up underneath the gutter and then out and over top of your wall. But unless you bring in someone that's gonna do some masonry work on that, which is what the bank, Coin Bank over here did, is what I know what it costs per brick. I think it'd be cheaper to put
Yeah.
strips of wood on it and then put tin on that whole south side. Well, not,
It's
not
kind
where
of
the
an L
trucks
shape
are.
right there.
Not where the trucks go in now, big trucks, but west of that should all be.
Cause,
The mortar's all coming out and the windows. just
well,
need to
there's
be
no
patched.
OSB even in them windows.
Yeah,
There's nothing there. It's, the window came out and they did whatever on the inside and
yeah.
just a hole.
It ought to be done on the outside, whatever it is.
Yeah,
what I'm
whatever they
saying.
did on the inside, they need to do on the outside.
Yeah. So, wanna bring that to your attention, I guess, and I don't know where to go from here, just so you guys can look at it and.
Is it something you wanna look at, Joe, and
Yep, I can write up some specs,
do the specs and an estimate or something, and maybe we can
put it out there for
bid?
someone to do.
Needs to be fixed, fix it.
Yep, and needs to look decent.
Yeah, Joe can help you, he's our resident fixer specialist, so.
Yep, and I haven't
Fix
been
it.
on the roof or anything yet, or whatever, I know, I just. That south side does, according to the rest of the building doesn't look too bad compared to that side, but then also just knowing that there's definitely moisture that can get inside there just is not good, so.
Good for you for noticing, and so we can, yeah, we,
Well, Jeff started,
It's-
it's his, once he pointed out to me,
Aw.
yeah.
Well, the big thing I saw was that flap up on the roof, whatever it is, between the transition
I'm
from east
sure
part
they're
to the
rubber.
west part, there's something up there flapping around.
So. On to the next thing.
One more thing about that.
Yeah,
Just wait 1 minute, Dustin. One more thing about that building back there. There's a big crack going on this north side. Have you seen that coming down?
that's an expansion joint, that is.
Well, that's all it is, just an expansion joint, okay? Because I saw that, I thought, is this thing moving or what?
That straight one,
Yeah,
so that's expansion joint, if you really look at the brick, that part of the building was added later.
okay.
It's a little bit different.
That's how much I know about carpentry and bricks and stuff.
So, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the summer help. Basically, I don't want anybody full-time, but Terry and I were talking if we could get somebody in here where we can share a person, cause obviously when we go to school in Minnesota, I don't wanna make sure and have something for somebody, have something for them to do while we're gone for a week. But I would say most of the time, we'd be able to keep somebody busy with all the demo and everything that we have to do. I know you think the profession part of it, it's just having that extra hand there, or having somebody there that can even call something if something was to happen. Like, I can't necessarily always be with Zach, maybe I need to go take care of a building permit or something of that nature. So then if Zach's in a bucket truck, he's still got somebody there that can hand him, watch over, if something happens, call me, whatever. You know, safety wise, we need to have another person there, even on locating sometimes, there's a lot of times we need to open up the transformers and having that other person there just in case something happens. You never know, so.
Do you have anybody in mind?
I don't have anybody in mind, no, that's the next thing is
Right.
if you can get anybody. Or if anybody to apply, but
How old would they have to be?
Have
I
to be
don't know.
18 to drive.
yep, that's a good
Pickup.
point. 16 or older for sure then, right?
They have to be 18 to drive.
18 to drive the city vehicle.
Okay.
I
Climb
think
a
it-
ladder. Even climb a ladder, how about and even just helping with wire roll up and picking up, clean up and even just somebody for eyes, you know, when you're setting stuff on trailers or whatever, but yeah, being able to drive would be huge, but I don't know what Terry's had in mind either, cause I mean, if it's just, then we know we can always keep somebody busy.
I personally think it'd be better off to hire somebody 18 to do all this kind of stuff, because there's regulations on somebody different ages until you get to be 18. I think there's even, they can only drive so many hours.
Did we have one extra applicant that wasn't hired for summer help?
Yes,
Is she 18?
she's 17.
Oh.
Tony?
I'm too old for it.
Okay.
He's not 18 yet.
His birthday's today, he's only 17 today.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't discriminate on age, Tony.
I'm busy enough.
But we can sure look, I mean, put out,
We can put out another ad in the paper too, or
unfortunately, we aren't getting a ton of applicants these days for.
Right,
And maybe Terry's got something in mind. Did he have anybody in mind?
did he?
he was talking about this person that applied for the lifeguard position.
Well, wouldn't that be
17.
better than if no one, if you had someone that was 17? Because they're just gonna be your second person, basically. Somebody would probably always be with them if you don't come up with somebody.
Well, it really limits you when you can't. When you gotta pick up with the trailer and then you gotta, both of you ride back and then you still can't get that vehicle back because you still gotta come back with another pickup to get, you're still.
Right, I mean, we're right here in town, it's just, I've actually been in worse scenarios than that, I've done road projects where I had two guys that could not drive it also. So I know how that is, but, just being able to leave a guy so he can finish what he's doing, that is huge too, I guess I'm looking at. So,
I think we should try advertising for somebody over 18. 18 and over. If we can get anybody. I think we still need another one in the street department, huh?
I don't think you get anybody.
Street department doesn't have anyone. They have the one that's 17 for the ballpark. And then we have the park. Have to put him to work driving, so all these 17-year-olds from home. The street department doesn't have anyone yet either.
is this something where, once school gets out, you might see more applicants?
I don't know, usually they're all applying now, and our 18-year-olds are probably going where they've been before. I'm not sure.
But we can try.
Yep.
I know there's some applying out at the lake, if they don't need all of them, they might be looking for, cause you have to be 18 out the lake too. Maybe there'll be a few that don't get their lake jobs that we could
Mhm.
Dan?
So you can advertise then for help and go from there?
Like you said, and I don't know who Terry was talking about, but just be honest and upfront.
So you're just looking for an 18-year-old to help with the electric and water and sewer department?
We just kind of
Sure.
share.
If we wanted to, we could throw them on a lawnmower.
Yeah, I mean, there's
I think we have
there's
enough now,
always
but
stuff to
still.
do,
Yeah,
but I definitely wanna be able to have, so we can keep going on this demo too. Once we get rolling on that, there's an awful lot to do.
You need a motion?
Not to just continue to
Yeah.
advertise.
I'm just putting everybody to sleep now.
You're doing great. We appreciate your
Yes.
thoughts. We sure do.
It's good for us to know this stuff.
Maybe Zach, the young guy, knows some young people in town. Maybe he's got some kind of a little idea too. He might know some of the younger people that,
I think he did have actually somebody in mind at one point, but then it was the 18 deal. So I don't know how old that person was.
right?
So,
Rita, you need a job?
Are you kidding?
yep, we're kidding.
You got anything else there, Dustin?
not on the agenda right now, I guess, whenever I can talk again or keep going, I got a little bit more I wanted to just bring up, but I can wait until my time or however that works.
You're up there now.
I'm up there now.
Got something to say, say it.
Okay. So, I guess I wanted to make it clear, just the last meeting I was at, Josh come up here, I know there was some issues with wages and everything. You guys resolved that, and I know that everybody's gotta be sitting here. So, when we talked before, I just wanted to make this clear that after my 6-month probation period, I was getting another $1 an hour. And that was the conversation, and I wanna make sure that that's up front, clear with everybody. Anybody not know that, or? Okay, now I'm bringing it up just so it's on the table right now. So that's on the record, I guess, and everybody's clear. And then also I wanna thank you guys for picking my partner too. You did a great job with Zach. He's a good kid. And also, I know I have to sign a deal for my schooling now, that come across today. Tony gave me I guess, contract basically. You give me a contract agreement, which is fine. You guys are protecting what you're investing on, and I understand that. Again, which when we had talked before, I just wanna make it very clear that I don't want, because I'm kinda gonna be, not a prisoner you wanna say, but I'm gonna be locked and have that over my head. I wanna make sure that my wages are not locked. And I brought that up before when it was just us three. Well, I guess you were here as four, but I wanna make sure that everybody's clear. Or knows what I'm thinking, I guess. That I just don't wanna be locked. I know I had brought up and asked the question about every time I go through a program and pass, if there can be raises there or, you know, benefits of doing your job, doing it well. And I'm bringing it up front, I'm being right here on the table for them,
I'm glad you're doing that.
yeah, so.
So nobody can say, well, he didn't say a word about
Well,
it.
that's correct, you know, you guys can only be right here together at one time, so now,
We don't like surprises, and you don't like surprises.
that's correct.
That's-
Can we go back to this contract?
Yep.
What was that?
The contract basically states if I leave, I'm gonna be paying for
the schooling.
Oh,
If he leaves prior to the schooling
Yeah.
end.
And I have to give you 2 years after schooling, before that contract is, or I gotta pay it back,
Or part of it.
part of it, which depending on how that contract is, you start looking at it, I'm assuming, so this year's 8,000. And then, you know, let's say I did leave, then I'd have to pay so much of that back. I mean, regardless, I just don't like contracts. I come in here before, I told you guys I was grateful. I plan on being here 20 years down the road. I don't see myself leaving, but I'm just putting it out there
It
that
was, yeah, it was just a
don't use it as
protection.
a tool
No,
to think that.
it was a protection for the
I can't
investment the
leave or
city's making.
whatever.
That's all that was.
Yep.
Just a protection for what the city's putting out for your education and stuff.
Right.
Same thing that Plankington did, and I think we all saw the contract on Plankington.
And that's the one I looked at. I didn't even
Yeah.
pull up the online new one yet.
No,
I mean.
we just, I think that was just an example of
Yeah, that was
Plankington's that
an
we gave
example.
him
We
this
haven't
morning.
actually written anything up, I just got that from Plankington.
Give you an
No, I
idea.
actually got one on my computer.
Oh, do
As soon
you?
as I sign it through Adobe, it's,
Okay.
yep.
Oh, was,
I'm assuming MMAU sends it out as well.
they might, yeah.
might
And
have,
then also, Heartland wanted a copy of it as well.
okay.
And
Okay.
you were correct, 25% Heartland will cover on that schooling too,
Okay.
They said they would.
so. um,
And I hope you're right, this is just kind of a moot point, because I'm still gonna be here in 20 years, and we look forward to that, so I.
No, and I talked to Heartland today, I've got a lot of that stuff figured out too, so like I said, 25% of that they'll pay.
For both you and Zach.
I believe so, yes, actually, and the way he was doing his number, it almost looked like there was more for me than him maybe, but,
There might be for superintendents or something.
so.
So did MMUA send out a list where he can keep track of all the locates and stuff and document all of
Yeah,
that?
I'm
So
already
you
doing
have
that.
all of that paperwork, like we talked this morning, to make sure you document everything.
As you know, right here, right now, I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah. And that's what
So-
I asked you to do.
He's on it.
I said, if you have a problem, please come to us and tell us. Don't sit there and hold
No,
it, so.
alright,
Yep.
got that, and so. But,
That way, we know exactly where you stand,
mhm,
which is good.
so. So, that's all I got, I guess, right now, I just wanted you guys to know, going forward or whatever.
If you have any more, we meet again the first part of May.
So. Any questions
That's,
for me?
like, some of the stuff we didn't have any idea about.
Right.
You know, we don't get out to see a lot of this stuff. That's why we depend upon you,
Yep.
so it's good.
It's all good stuff,
Yes,
thank
it
you,
is.
Yeah.
super job.
Thank you.
I can sit down now?
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys probably want to go to bed tonight, right?
Yeah, we're good.
2 or 3 hours yet.
Is there anything else? If not, thanks for
Thanks, Dustin.
Yep.
coming and telling us this.
Thanks, Amers.
Okay, the next thing,
Thank you.
thanks Dwayne, or not Dwayne. Dwight.
Dwayne's son.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, Personnel Committee is number 8, flex meeting time, sick and payout.
That was something we brought up, that I thought maybe the Personnel Committee should get together and meet about this flex meeting time, because it was changed by the state, correct? We were doing it wrong all along.
Yeah, it wasn't changed, it's just
Well,
we weren't.
we were just doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And so I think the Personnel Committee needs to get together and get that ironed out. And then Hayden called me about this sick leave accumulation. He had like 320 hours of sick leave, but he didn't get paid for any of it. Because according to our personnel, you have to be in your position for a minimum of 7 years before you get 1/4 of that sick leave back, which is 80 hours. And he only had 5 years, but he had 320 hours of sick leave.
We
and-
don't get any of ours back when we leave.
Well, that's just, I'm
So
not,
if
I'm not
it
saying it's right or
depends on
wrong.
If it's in your policy.
We don't get a dime for any sick leave not used.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm just saying that's the policy now, so it's just something the personnel committee might want to look at. I know it's based, in my feeling and Shayla's, it was based on the fact that by doing that, people don't leave as quickly. You know, it keeps the retention here for at least 7 years. You know, otherwise sick leave's gone, so it's a retention-based thing. But it might be something the personnel committee might want to look at. That's why this was down. I think, Jim, you're on the personnel committee. Tammy, you're on it. No, and I'm on it.
Okay.
You can raise your hand and be on it though if you want to be.
I'm already calling the street department one committee meeting here pretty quick.
So, anyway, it's just something I thought we need to meet and just discuss a little bit. Because Hayden brought it up to my attention. I didn't know anything about it at the time, so,
I didn't know how it worked here, but.
yeah. So it just, you sit down,
You use it or you lose it.
yeah, we'll see how other places are, I know.
Yeah.
With sick leave.
Sick leave.
Not vacation. no.
Your PTO time, you can, they pay you for that, but I've been at the hospital for 21 years. And if I would leave anytime soon, I don't get any of the, well, now it's PTO. When we used to have it split, now it's in one bundle. So if I'm sick, I have to use PTO.
Yeah.
So it's a little different now because you don't accumulate as much because you don't have both of them. But we never got,
It's different on every job,
Yeah.
how it's handled, but
yeah,
Actually, it's unusual to actually get paid your sick time, that's,
Very.
it is.
yeah.
Get any money.
that's just kind of a bonus, they say. If you're sick when you're working, you can get paid for it, but if you're not working any longer, you don't get it. Which, it's a kind of unfair. You have somebody that's never sick and they build up all those hours, but where do you draw the line on some of that, you know?
I got paid for all mine.
You got some people that their sick leave is almost nothing because they're using it for everything. And then the next guy is maxed out in no time.
I know, yeah, it's not fair, but.
So anyway, that's all that was brought up for.
So we just need to get a committee meeting set up.
Yep.
I think the biggest thing is that the flex time has been being done
Yeah.
wrong and we're still,
So what are you doing wrong?
flex time has to be used within the week.
Within a week or a pay period?
A week.
Within
So
that
if you
same
take
week.
Flex time for tonight, you have to use it this week?
I have
Right.
to use it before Friday, otherwise it has to go to time and a half, and we have not done that. But I talked to the Department of Labor, they brought this up in one of our meetings, one of our finance officer meetings, or HR, I'm not sure which one. And so when I was talking to him about, I don't remember if it was something for the electric department, I was talking to him, I said, oh, by the way, I just wanted to throw this out. What is flex meeting time? And he just laughed, he said, there should never be flex time. Because you can't force us to be here and only have 1-for-1 after hours. And if we can leave this week, that's awesome. Like, for me, I've been using my flex time every other week for CCD, but that's about to hit. Cindy's been gone so much that my flex time has been building up again, because I can't get out of here. Well, that has to go to an hour and a half as soon as it leaves Friday night. If I can't use it by Friday night, it has to go to an hour and a half time instead of an hour for hour. It has to be comp time or overtime.
So you spend from 6 o'clock until 9 o'clock tonight, or 10 o'clock, whichever it may be.
Yeah,
So you get them 4 hours, and so it'll be time and a half for 4 hours,
yes.
unless you take,
Unless I use it this week,
okay.
so. And it's kinda hard, I know summer's coming up, it's really hard for these guys to get out of here during the week too, the same week, so. It's just our policy manual has to be changed and we have to figure out how to do that. If it's just gonna be straight overtime or comp time like anything else that we're have to be here after hours, and leave it at that.
Okay. I think we're done with that, Ron.
You're gonna handle this as a personnel committee then, right? All right, then let's go on to number 9, and I put that on there. Heater for the bathhouse. Now, I know we close it in the wintertime, but with hunting season, and when the weather is good,
That was my chair.
Feel better?
Was my chair.
I'll let you know pretty soon if it was his chair.
You let us know about that.
Here's my chair.
Sorry, Bob.
See if we can do that again.
Nope.
There you go.
Yeah, see?
with hunting season and the amount of camping that there is goes on there until hunting season, they camp there as long as you can come. They was there until Christmas time this year.
They were.
And it's the same way when, like this spring, when there was more people up there using that, walking, and up there in this good weather that we've had, like in February even. But you can't, if you don't have a heater in there, you can't afford the risk of it freezing up. So I think we should put a heater in there to where if the weather is, like especially for hunting season and that kind of stuff, because there's a lot of people who use that park. Both camping and walking and whatever. So I think we should have Dusty look at a cost for a heater for that.
Dustin? Dustin?
Oh, there, he's here yet. I thought he left.
So I did go down there, and in the bathrooms themselves, there is radiant heaters. Now,
There is radiant
There is
heat.
radiant heaters in the bathrooms. I feel like they need to be turned up because it's not, if it was really cold, I would say it's probably not a big enough heater, but they're radiant, so they're meant to heat up the objects to heat the room, and so they need to be turned up, which is the best type of heater for a block scenario anyways, because it's all block, it's gonna be cold. But yeah, as far as keeping the plumbing and everything, there needs to be a heater in the mechanical room.
Yeah,
And for that one, I mean, you could get a fan force one and mount it to the block wall, or I personally haven't stepped in there. Terry told me there wasn't one in there. But we need to get heat in there, so that way we don't have an issue, because if there is an issue in there, I've heard it's so tight that it'd be tough to even fix anything. So it's better to spend the money and just.
no, I think for what it, personally, I think for what it would cost, I don't think we can afford the risk without, or being without one.
If you're gonna have it open till December, you're gonna need something in there.
Yep. And then there is no heat in the big area. To cut the chill, I'm not gonna say you're gonna heat it, but it's just something. I would recommend putting another one of them radiant heaters like in the bathroom, just right above that door of the mechanical room, so it would kinda shine out, and then there again, it would be easy to go through into the mechanical room. I assume there's a panel or something there. Again, I haven't been in there, I don't even know where the electrical panel
Well,
is.
that'd keep the chill off it, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Can we, when you do this, you make sure that the thermostats are locked away?
The thermostats are actually mounted on the heaters, so they're up high. And then, I guess I'm kind of speaking for Terry in a way too. I mean, he said he couldn't make it tonight, but also, we really should probably mount switches on the side of the exhaust fans so we can turn them off in the winter times, because every time you walk in, the lights come on, the exhaust fan goes on. So, just, I guess I'd put a switch on the side, so in the colder months, just leave the exhaust fans off.
So you're not blowing the heat out of the building.
Yeah, that would help too, so.
You're talking The heaters are that cold heat?
Yep, cove heat, and they just got a little thermostat up underneath of them. You go in the far stalls, both bathrooms, they're tucked up there, you had to look for them, but they're in there. And it was on, I could feel it.
It takes a lot more of that for heat than like a baseboard heater, isn't it?
Well, it's just nice that them are up high.
Yeah.
And them are, what, I put a lot of them in, and the inspectors always told me, them are the best for garages or anything, because you're heating an object versus trying to fan forced or something. So like say in a garage, you open a garage door, and where's all your air go? It goes right out. So as soon as your garage door goes down or whatever, your objects are already warm, and so the recovery is supposed to be better. I mean,
As long as you have enough to keep the heat up.
yeah, so- and that's so many watts per square foot. And I didn't do any calculations. I don't know what's in there, but I mean, it's borderline. It just depends on how cold it is. But if you get one in that mechanical room for sure, and you have them ones turned up and have one to cut the chill, I mean, I don't know if that block was filled or not. If it's a storm shelter, I would assume they had to be filled.
They poured that with concrete.
So
So it's
they
filled.
are solid.
Yes, they are.
I was gonna say they should be for doing that.
Yeah,
Oh, they poured them full when they
Now,
built.
when they,
Right.
every third level up, they poured
Yep, all
concrete
of
and
them.
all the way from the
You
bottom.
see, most schools is every other one. Okay.
They filled them all up.
They
as
filled
they
them
went.
all up, which will help a little bit, but again, it's just concrete. You're trying to just heat concrete. You got a concrete floor and you got concrete walls and, I mean, Terry said something about AC too, but it's concrete. I don't know how crazy you wanna get there, and then if you start going outside of there, you might be hurting the integrity of the storm shelter as well. Depending on how you run stuff there.
Why is it,
That would not be.
why isn't the heater the main thing?
Yeah.
I've not been in any state park bathhouses that have air conditioning.
I haven't either.
Right.
I would,
So,
I would recommend that we have Darcy look at that and see what it's gonna take.
Do you know an electrician?
Hmm?
Do you know an electrician?
I do know a couple, yeah.
Awesome.
Do you think with the next couple nights being in the teens, you guys should put a electric milk heater or something in
There's
that?
gotta be a plug-in back in there, I would think so.
Might not be a bad idea.
Better safe than
Just a
sorry.
small electric heater just for,
Yep.
till you get
Careful on
something
that.
better.
The cords like to warm up though too, if you run it too long.
Right, I mean, I ran a lot of them, and all we ever used were reefer trailers for the offices.
Really?
And I've ran a lot of them. I mean, there again, something was to burn up, it's gonna short the breaker and then you're all blocked. I mean, as long as you're not laying it across something flammable that's gonna burn up, it's just gonna be on cement.
I've unplugged one before when there wasn't a little gray melt barn heater, what I call melt barn. Just something off the shelf, some plastic thing.
Oh,
Old
yeah.
cats and cords are just.
Yeah, no,
they're not
I'm saying
meant to go
milk
off too
out.
long.
And then they got them in now where they tip over, they go off too.
And I don't think you're stepping on Terry's toes by talking about that house at the park.
No, he actually told me, make sure I was here for that. So, but I mean, like I said, he was talking AC too, but I think the main concern here is just trying to keep the plumbing free.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did we have any specs or who the electrician was or to see what? You guys should have had some submittals on the heaters that are in there right now.
Should have what?
You should have had some submittals on the heaters that are in there right now.
We had a whole book about this, I'm sure that's in there.
Okay, yeah, and honestly, that's what I like, is that, cause then I can pop to that page and I can see right where he ordered it and what they are, and how many watts.
You still got that?
I have whatever they gave us, so.
Cause then we could just match it and whatever. Oh, the other recommendation too was, I guess a little bit I walked around in there, I would probably get a cage over that camera.
You've already had a couple kids swinging a stick over it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like cages you put over, like CUC in a gym to protect them from balls or whatever, like usually they're on fire alarm equipment or something, just, it'll obstruct your view a little bit, but I would definitely put something over it to, keep people from messing with it, especially if you don't have benches in there yet, but you're going to, and then are you gonna bolt the benches down?
Yeah, otherwise, yeah.
Okay. Good ideas.
I don't know if we can carry that over to another conversation about the bathhouse and the security cameras. But if we can, I'd like to make a zero tolerance policy for any vandalism in there. We've already had some, and I don't want this in any way to look like that other one. Kids are gonna go in there and do any vandalism,
Yeah, they are.
give them 40 hours of community service or something. Don't just let them come in and wash it off and go home.
Working for the city, we always need help.
Yeah, there's your summer help.
The whole summer.
That's my thought.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Is there any more on the bathhouse? If not, we'll go to DENR grant agreements, and they're found on page 12 and 13.
It's contagious. No, he's yawning, see?
This is phase two.
This is phase two. This is what we just received from DENR on what, March 25th or something like that? So we just have to do the acceptance of it. And this was to compensate for the grant portion that expired March 31st.
We're not, are we gaining any?
No, it's the exact same dollar amount that expired.
Okay.
We're just not losing.
We're not losing.
We're not losing.
We're not losing and not gaining.
Right.
I just,
We're maintaining. Same amount.
We're not adding any surcharges. Is that what you're asking?
well, mostly I just, I don't have all these numbers in my head, because I know we discussed this last year to get this funding, and,
Yeah,
but
this
I don't,
is,
I just want, I don't know what all this is. When you have discussion in last fall about it, now we're starting again.
this is the clean water, the consolidated water and the wastewater, we were short $135,750 expired March 31st. And they were very generous in giving us a new grant to cover that.
Yes.
And then our water was the $112,700 that expired. Because we didn't get our paving done last fall.
So do we need to approve these
We
or
need to
what?
approve having Ron accept these.
By all means, I'll make that motion.
We can do that in one, can't we, Shayla?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the consolidated water facilities and construction program grant agreement, and the South Dakota, is that the same one?
It's just, one's for water, one's for sewer.
Our consolidated water facilities construction program grant agreement for wastewater. Is there a second? Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is to canvass the votes.
Okay, I'm gonna open the sealed ballots right now.
There's tally sheet towards the back. That's a list of all the voters, but there's tally sheets.
Toward the back?
Yep. There you go.
Come on. Back page or?
I think to be that one. And then this one should match.
The what?
And then you want, this one would also, should match that.
So this one too.
Yep.
I think we like these already had it.
He's coming around now.
So it was more than just taste and smell when it started at.
I bet if he would have something to do with it, probably wouldn't have been that.
Okay, these two match.
I bet he'd just stick around his room and get his dog to work and stuff.
And each person can view that.
Yeah. These two match, and it's got Ron Blatchford, 149, Susan Hargens, 147, Joe Zeller, 85, and Steve Uris, 46. And they match. So, we're gonna pass these around to everybody, correct?
Yeah, and then pass that other sheet around, and if they agree with it, they need to sign it. Joe obviously has to abstain from his.
So I agree with it, so I sign it first, correct? That one's for the mayor.
And then if you would write in those votes that you, write in the votes on that, from those sheets.
Okay,
Joe, what are you working on now?
Up at the plaza.
Hargens, 147.
Up at the plaza.
Just any, one of these blocks.
Yeah.
What did all they
Any
got
one
to
of
do
them?
up
Yeah,
there?
either one of them, yeah.
They do an annual inspection, and they have a punch list.
Okay, totals. 85, 86. Guess I only had to sign the one. You're gonna have to sign off if you agree.
Make sure I do this correctly. Okay, so these are just the ones you sign.
You just have to go by the totals. This one has to agree with the book.
Storm sewer
Okay.
With the book.
from the
And go to this
intersection going
page here.
south.
It has the totals.
Yep.
Okay, this one has to agree with that one.
For the water park, the catch basin.
Okay, it does.
Old ones are out,
So now I just have to sign,
Yep.
culverts. Very
Here.
rusty
and
culverts.
this one's, where, do we have to sign them both? Yeah.
That one is for
We're bringing that all
Joe
the way
Zeller, Steve Yours,
from,
From here it goes all the way down the creek.
and that one's for the mayor.
All right, and we don't have to do anything,
got that all the
you
way
did
up.
that.
No, I put it up on top, but its figures are the same. 149,
Yep.
147.
A lot of black dirt on the top. Hardly any
Okay.
grass, mostly black dirt.
There's your totals.
Right there in the center.
That's that one too.
But that's also the highway.
It doesn't, goof it up if I put up there in the mayor's slot, I put 147, 149, and then 147, 149. Does that goof that sheet up?
They got down.
What's up?
There it said mayor,
Water lines,
right there.
so.
See where I put it
Only
on?
3 foot deep
Oh,
going in.
yeah,
That doesn't goof that up.
no, that's fine.
In my house. that was one
I
thing.
found my error on the second one, did it
I was
right?
up here, you went from curb to gutter and you come down like that. And so that exposed water.
This was Highway 14?
Well, there were no mail-ins, sorry.
The walk-ins.
There was a lot of new, or a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, there was probably maybe 10 early voters, but
So you could come and vote early, but could you mail it or?
we could have if anybody would have
Somebody
requested.
request?
That jog was still there.
Where did these three come from?
Like it's down there and that jog was still there.
Plus three, where does that come from?
Yeah.
There's
Great
one
car,
there.
way back in the-
Oh, this one was done.
Someone lost their life on that.
Sandy, as a superintendent, read the
I don't remember
ballots.
One of the names that happened.
One of the gals did this one of them did this one. This one was not right, so they had to go back through and find out where the error was between these two. So that's why they added +3 here. Hers was right the first time, this one she was short some.
Yeah, well,
She only had 147, so when they recounted,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, she had 144 the first time. She missed,
Right.
in her tally, she missed 3.
Kinda like truck marks.
So they had to go back and recount to make sure that that was,
Coming off that Cottonwood Road. Somebody got.
because this one actually balanced to the number of ballots in this one.
Matter what color pen I'm using here?
Nope, you're fine.
It's solid all the way to the stop sign.
Over top the rumble strips too.
Shayla, do you know where it's deadline to register to
Pretty
vote?
black right there.
Do you want to participate in the election?
The deadline was, to register was March. Did you sign the other one too? Did you sign 2? I signed this one. March
Yeah,
29th
then,
was the deadline.
so they're hauling that dirt behind their place.
Courthouse. I know.
Yeah.
it was an awful turnout.
They put a lot there and there's gonna be more. Half the price pot between me and Kopeck and stuff like that. They talked about
There's
that.
the-
And that's how many
people
in the city. And they're gonna
It's not
go
like it's
around.
that far.
No.
This one,
And it was a nice day, it wasn't a blizzard or anything.
Last
I think it's
4th of July.
147.
It's not like you have like a city of 3 million people and I'm thinking, it's a
For them to
30
give
minute.
that
A 2 hour wait, no, you go, you walk in and vote it and we're done. It's like the easiest ballot I've ever
So
seen
they
in my
can't
life.
even.
Go for that.
Yes.
I'm in Ward 3, I think. I don't have one.
I don't know,
I thought she'd be here tonight asking for a recount.
your place, Bone Brush House was, the bill went around like that, to drop down.
I don't know.
Yep, that's right behind Brad there. But all my stuff is all hauled in dirt.
Yeah,
Let's go.
there's some other stuff that got hauled in with it too. Concrete, machinery.
She's not here, does that mean there's no recount?
She has 5 days.
She has 5 days.
5 days from tonight.
I think we should just assume there will be.
Yeah, I would.
Until we know otherwise, I would assume there will be.
Oh, we do have ice cream cake for dessert. It's getting kind of late.
She
We're
was
gonna
saying
have
Is
to.
this
happy
it right
birthday,
over
she was
here?
saying
Yeah.
happy birthday.
Ice cream cake?
Yeah, it's probably melted.
It might be a bit melted, we should probably scoop it up.
You have to show
Shayla
up.
must have walked that.
Assuming you're signing.
You can tell them you're not gonna vote and they'll you done, but you have to show up.
Oh, yeah, I had cupcakes.
I was thinking, yeah, then you can choose if you wanna vote or not, but you have to
Your wife?
take your butt to that place. Tell them you want to. I would.
No, I got out of the military, well, I still cook some. I don't cook hardly at all anymore.
You'll have to, you have a wife, right?
I was a cook instructor in the military.
Oh, really?
I was starting to feel sorry for you. I thought you'd been up half the night.
Well, I was night baker for a while in the military.
don't wanna hear you complain.
Really?
You're not gonna.
She's explaining to me there was two sheets there, the one had like 144 plus three. They
Everybody left, so that's what we're waiting for, is everybody to
and they
leave.
came up with 3 more, that's why the plus 3 is on it. That's what Sharon explained to me.
All the newspaper reporters don't get any.
Well, anyway, we can just get, so we take a show out of the air, it doesn't have to be.
Here we go.
Now you just.
Are you gonna sing?
We have to sing.
Oh, no, you don't have to sing.
We have to sing.
Of course we do.
Beautiful.
That's a lot of.
I should take a picture of that.
Here, I'll take a picture of you with it.
Newspaper get a picture of this.
Front page.
I won't do that to her.
Tony, get by your cake.
Want me to hold it?
Sure. Just don't let it slide off your lap.
How about if I just go like this?
There, smile.
I am smiling.
Okay. There.
Oh, look at that.
Because the old Tony.
Leary, Rodney.
I got a good picture so I can show it again. Unless you just want to forward that or what.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I have your number in here.
You think you can handle cutting this, Tony? I don't know if we can trust you with a sharp knife, really.
Shouldn't.
What do you think, Carrie?
I don't know.
I know how to gut a deer real fast.
So is this done by everybody?
I'm armed.
So what's the process
Are we
now?
still in session? You gotta tell us how old you are, so we have to document it?
70.
I like the way you think.
Just put it that I'm old.
He said something
74.
about dirt the other day.
Yeah.
Tony, tell me you're 74 and admit it.
I'm not.
Right. Notice I was over here about
Really?
4 year old now.
You're not 74?
Nope. Not yet.
Now he's gaining now.
Yeah, I'm gaining. I'm not as old as dirt, that's for sure.
Okay. This has been, everybody has signed these, so we're good with the canvas.
We'll cut easy.
So what's the next procedure?
The next procedure is, since it's less than 10 votes,
Boy, I
Susan
never cut
Harkins
an ice
has
cream
the
cake
ability to
before, you?
request a recount. She has 5 days to request the recount from tonight. And then we have to do
I think they
a
put
recount
cardboard
board,
in here.
in which, if she does it, we'll go through the steps of that, so.
Oh, there it goes.
And if not, then we'll do an oath for the two of you on May 3rd.
Oh, that's frozen solid.
Well, and
Still.
the other two councilmen
Yes,
also.
their oath of, I can't remember what it's called, when they didn't have to elect appointed or whatever, yeah.
While Tony's
Nine.
cutting his cake, let's pay the bill.
Yeah.
Yes,
I guess I'll make the motion, we pay the bills.
I'll second it.
Tammy?
We got a motion to pay the bills, is there a second?
I second it.
We have a motion and a second to pay the bills, is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Is there any other business that needs to come before the council before we adjourn? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so moved, that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I so second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. The meeting's adjourned at 9:16.
Now do we sing?
Yes, I think you need to sing.
Let's go for it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tony. Happy birthday to you.
Cha cha cha.
A little off key, your falsetto was not very good.
Yeah, no, that was, we could do better.